It's a particular pleasure today to introduce Michael Winter, who's one of the most innovative thinkers about rural and environmental policy. What does this trade and this sort of move towards a global food system mean? Have you got more diversity or less diversity? 7,000 plant species documented as human food, and yet big three provide half the world's plant-derived energy measured in calories. Sometimes we have, I believe, a sort of illusion of diversity. One thing is sure, and this is one of the things I found in Canada, looking at the First Nations, the indigenous peoples' traditional diet. Very few of them would eat this diet now because they are no longer hunters and gatherers, but they ate 200 species of plant, 50 species of berries, 25 species of green vegetables. Extraordinary diversity and variety in their diet, which we've largely lost. We process a lot of food, and we seem in this country to be particularly taken up with processed food. So ultra-processed food is a percentage of household purchases, and there we are in the good old UK, right at the top of that list. There are all sorts of interesting questions about our food culture and why that is the case. We do not have the same Mediterranean food culture that we see in the south of this continent. So some really interesting issues. And ultra-processed food is a really bad story in terms of diet and health. Just one of a number of diagrams that are in the report are intake of dietary fibre and what we're taking and what we should be taking. We are looking at a major health crisis in this country, and it's diet-related. So that means changing food cultures. It does link to food cultures, this. It means making sure that people are enabled and empowered to eat the right things and want to eat the right things. And the wanting bit is quite challenging at times. Now, what are the opportunities for UK agriculture in this, then? There is a massive trade deficit in fruit and vegetable in the UK. It is really, really big. In terms of ability to grow stuff, there are places in this country we can do that. Arguably, with climate change, we can probably do a bit more. There have been some great success stories in recent years, as some of you know. Whatever your views on polytunnels, my gosh, they have absolutely helped with extending the season for things like asparagus in Herefordshire, for soft fruit. We can do a lot more in this space. There's no doubt about that. Fruit and vegetables is the biggest bit of this, as far as I'm concerned, in suggesting changes to UK agriculture. We need to develop a food and farming strategy that is about food, as well as about the farming and environment bit. It's about food nutrition. There's definitely a clear policy imperative to support farmers through the transition. The third one there, agricultural policy should be more focused on health and nutrition. And at the same time, we're asking them to do a lot more things. We're asking them to produce lots of wonderful public goods around carbon storage in soils, around flood prevention, around biodiversity, etc., as well as producing food, and not just food in bulk, but food that is nutritious and plays to the health agenda. These are big demands. We need to do this together, scientists working with farmers, working with policy people. To me, nutritional security should be seen as a public good. We need to put nutritional security alongside environmental security in talking about the future for agriculture. I've spent a lot of my life in the last few years researching sustainable intensification of agriculture. I think the policy and research there needs to be broadened to include human nutrition as a core element. It hasn't been. It's been all about environmental and economic sustainability. It's really difficult for farmers to move from, for sake of argument, from corn and some beef and sheep cattle to move into horticulture. You need new different machines, you need storage facilities, etc., etc. Some sort of conversional grant scheme could be really, really helpful to enable and to allow farmers to make that step. The trade gap means that we can do that with a degree of confidence, in my view. You know, it's not a step into the dark. I think there should be some sort of policy encouragement for cultivation and market development of pulses. We need innovative and dynamic market structures. Quality assurance schemes, I've already alluded, I think they're a bit hit and miss. They should have nutritional quality absolutely at the core. This is where the retail sector can really, really help
in formulating quality assurance schemes with farmers that absolutely prioritise nutritional quality. There's certainly a need for stronger and shorter supply chains, focusing on nutritional qualities. We've got quite a lot of that already. We need more. Food sovereignty, as a nation, as a people, thinking about our food, understanding our food, really trying to get to grips with what it means for our national identity, and where we can grow stuff and grow it well, let's do it. Okay, so conclusion. We are what we eat. That old cliche, but how true it is. What goes in determines, in many ways, our health, our life, in all sorts of ways. And we eat what is available to us. What is available to us has been changing rapidly. And we now have a lot more choice than just to eat what is put in front of us. What is available to us is in part what we decide is available to us now. And as consumers and citizens, we can and should change what we eat. Simple. I've said it a dozen times already. I believe it. Farmers have a great opportunity to contribute to the health challenge. Slowly but surely changing agriculture to contribute to the health challenge and to the nutrition needs of this nation. I see it as a huge opportunity for UK agriculture. Thank you.